Recently, I bought a sweater that claimed to be made of 100% cotton. A week later, after wearing it, I started having rashes and found out that, contrary to the claim, it was made of mixed synthetic cotton. So, what did I do? Well, I took it to the store and asked the manager either to get it exchanged or provide me a refund. But did they do that? Not at first. Not until I had to remind them that as a consumer, I have my rights that I am very much aware of. So, what happened next? Well, I had done my fair share of research about my consumer protection rights, and with a mix of squinting looks and a grey face reaction, I got my refund. But can I do it that often? Yes, I can. You can. Any consumer who buys goods and is subjected to unethical practices, illegal exchange, false marketing, or damaged product can stand up for themselves and exercise their rights as a consumer. But what are these rights? That is what this video is about. In this video, we will find out what consumer protection is and how is it essential for you to be aware of these rights. People buy goods and services as an inevitable process of their daily lives. We all need food, clothing, shelter, and other amenities and goods, which form the basic necessities of our life. The world revolves around the cycle of selling and purchasing. But while purchasing goods or services, you can come upon various problems from the one who delivers your goods, or the service provider, or an online vendor, or anyone else related to the purchase. In any such situation, you have three options. A. To sulk, ignore, and forget about it. B. To argue and waste your time and energy. C. To gather legal insight and head towards the judiciary to exercise your rights. The third one sounds the best, right? Right. And to help with it, there are numerous consumer protection laws active in almost all the countries around the globe. So, what are these laws? Consumer protection laws offer an important part of a reliable market economy. While buyer beware was once the motto of the free market, these regulations help sellers stay honest, with no threat of unpleasant surprises for the consumer. Consumer protection laws exist to prevent dangerous or unethical business practices, such as false advertising or faulty products. For most consumers, the Federal Trade Commission regulates warranties and service contracts across different countries. In finance, consumer protection laws seek to prevent predatory lending, housing discrimination, security fraud, privacy violations, and other unethical practices. India itself has a very comprehensive Consumer Protection Act that looks after the rights of its consumers. But what exactly is the Consumer Protection Act? Well, the Consumer Protection Act is one of the main laws that provide protection to consumers in India. The Act was introduced in the year 1986 and then amended in the year 2002 through the Consumer Protection Amendment Act 2002. As a consumer, you exercise this right any moment you feel you are subjected to fraud, fault, or other forms of legal or ethical inconvenience. Now, how do you know you qualify as a consumer? The Consumer Protection Act defines a consumer as a person who buys goods or services for consideration and not for resale. Also, a consumer is the one who uses the goods and services with the permission of the person who purchases the goods or services. The Act covers all goods and services, including banking, e-commerce, telecom, insurance, electricity, transportation in the private and public sector. Here are a few things you can keep an eye on as a consumer. Consumer warranties and service contracts. Whenever you buy merchandise, it comes with a warranty. This is a guarantee that it will serve the purpose it was purchased for. In other words, it will function pretty well. But how do you deal with warranty breach? If a warranty is breached, get the item replaced or repaired by the seller. If that doesn't work, try resolving the dispute through mediation. If that fails, you have the right to sue the manufacturer or the seller. But when can you knock the legislature gates? Under the Consumer Protection Act, the customer can raise a complaint in writing if adoption of any unfair trade practices or a restrictive trade practice by any trader or service provider is faced by them. If the goods bought by them or agreed to be bought by them suffer from one or more defects. If the services hired or availed of or agreed to be hired or availed of by them suffer from a deficiency in any respect. If the trader or service provider, as the case may be, has charged for the goods or for the service mentioned in the complaint a price in excess of the price fixed by the law, displayed on the goods or any packages containing such goods, displayed on the price list exhibited by them or under any law for the time being in force, or the price that was agreed between the parties. They are offered goods for sale to the public, which will be hazardous to life and safety when used. So let's say that you qualify as a consumer and your case can make it to the legislature. So how do you go about filing a consumer case? Well, any consumer complaint relating to a good or service must be filed in writing with the district forum by the consumer along with the fee. On receipt of a complaint, the district forum may reject or approve the complaint, usually within 21 days from the date of complaint. On the other hand, a copy of the complaint will reach the opposite party for the approval to be made within 45 days. Consumers can approach the concerned consumer court or consumer redressal forum if there is a deficiency in goods or services that they may have purchased. While this very statement sounds simple, the Consumer Protection Act defines deficiency as any fault, imperfection, shortcoming, or inadequacy in the quality, nature, and manner of performance. This performance is required to be maintained by or under any law for any time being in force, or has been undertaken to be performed by a person in pursuance of a contract or otherwise in relation to any service. But can anyone file a consumer case? Well, any person who has purchased a good or service is termed as a consumer and is entitled to protection under the Consumer Protection Act. The term consumer also includes any person who uses the goods or services with the permission of the buyer. Further, the term consumer under the Consumer Protection Act has also been extended to medical services to include patients who engage and avail for consideration the services of a medical professional, whether working as a private practitioner or a government doctor. Consumer Protection Act does not apply to any person who obtains any goods or service for the purpose of resale or any other commercial purpose. Such transaction undertaken by two businesses for trade purposes would be a trade sale, not a consumer sale. For protection under the Consumer Protection Act, it's important that there be a consideration which has been paid or promised, or partly paid and partly promised, or have a deferred payment plan. Deficiencies in services or goods provided for free is not dealt with under the Consumer Protection Act. So what's the procedure for filing a consumer case? Well, it's not that complicated, but it is comprehensive. A consumer case can approach a consumer court or consumer redressal forum if they have been subject to any deficiency in goods or services that were purchased. Consumer court or consumer redressal forum has a 3-tier hierarchy, and the jurisdiction will depend on the value of the goods or services and the compensation claimed by the consumer. First up, we have the District Consumer Forum. District Consumer Forum deals with consumer complaints where the value of goods or services and the compensation claimed does not exceed rupees 20 lakhs. District Consumer Forum mainly entertain common cause petitions for the award of compensation to persons who have suffered from any particular deficiency in goods or services. Next up, we have the State Consumer Forum. State Consumer Forum deals with consumer complaints where the value of goods or services and compensation claimed are between rupees 20 lakhs and rupees 1 crore. State Consumer Forum also deals with appeals against orders of the District Consumer Forum within the concerned state. Then we have the National Consumer Forum. National Consumer Forum has jurisdiction over consumer cases where the value of goods or services and compensation claimed are over rupees 1 crore. National Consumer Forum also deals with appeals against orders of the State Consumer Forum. Any appeal that goes against the orders of the National Consumer Forum can be made directly to the Supreme Court within 30 days of the date of the concerned order. With this crash course, now you are all equipped to stand up for yourself and exercise your rights whenever needed. Remember that as a responsible citizen, you need to be aware of your rights to prevent getting exploited and taken advantage of. There is a lot of power vested in the hands of the consumers, and once you learn to utilize this power for good, you will contribute to the creation of an ethical, quality-based, and considerable market, both for the buyers and consumers. But while you start contributing to this cause, how about a small contribution to our channel? Well, you know the drill. Like our video, subscribe to our channel, leave a comment, share our work, and let us know that you have our back just the way we do. And until we meet next, stay curious, stay awesome. World of Walks, signing off.